You know, in the statue collecting community, when we get a statue in that's big, it's often misinterpreted as, hey, if it's big, it must be amazing. And maybe because the majority of statue collectors are males, and we're used to hearing that from the opposite sex. However, this quarter scale alien queen statue is huge, and coincidentally, is pretty damn amazing. And I think the size does have something to do with it. The size, not the fucking presence. Every statue has presence. They all have the same amount of presence. I will die on this hill. Hey, my name is Mr. X. Welcome to the Extreme Channel. We are giving away $1,000 statues to you guys. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Welcome to the Extreme Channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. I love extreme collectibles like this alien queen statue. So let me give you some background because we're going to do a full review today, and I may have to dodge out of the way from the tail as it spins around. This is a custom. So it means it's a private unlicensed commission, and normally I don't share information on where these come from, but I can about this company for a few reasons. One, this statue is very old. It's about 8 to 10 years old, although mine was brand new out of the box. Number two, this company, Matrix Studios, I believe ended up scamming people on a future project, which is really unfortunate. They're not around anymore. It's fortunate they're not around anymore because they were scammers. And this is a quarter scale queen alien. So quarter scale means 4 times smaller than a real life version. Now, if you recall, recently I kind of transitioned most of my collection from a whole bunch of different alien stuff to just 1/3 scale. My most recent pickup was this 1/3 scale Neomorph from Alien Covenant. However, those of us that love Alien on the big screen, we all can't deny how amazing the Queen is. Probably the most badass character there is. Now, I actually have sometimes what they call the King, but the Rogue Alien, right here. And it's much smaller than this because it's a non-scale or it doesn't have a scale. And I don't plan on displaying these next to each other, but they're going to be close. And you'll see that, or you have seen that, in a recent room tour. Make sure to go check that out as well, because depending on the timing of this, it'll either launch very shortly after or launch very shortly before. So I gotta be very honest with you before I dive in. I had some concerns about this because some of the photos and videos of it out there didn't look as cool as it is. I am really, really impressed, and it's not just the size.
That's what she said.
And some of my biggest concerns with the design that we're going to talk about honestly weren't concerns at all now that I have her in place. The biggest thing with having her in place is I have no idea where I'm going to put it.
Or he said.
But let's start with the concept. And really quick here, this is normally where I kind of do a still up and down, but I'm going to leave it turning around simply for the fact that there are so many amazing angles, I don't know how I'm going to display it. We'll talk a little bit more about that in design. So this is obviously the Alien Queen from Aliens, the second installment of the Alien franchise, which recently, when I'm filming this, I finally watched Romulus, and honestly, I liked it quite a bit. Doesn't hold a candle to Alien or Aliens. Still, very great film. So I believe this is supposed to be the spaceship, so where the final battle took place, where Ripley got in the forklift and told her, get away from her, you bitch. Oh, as a reminder, I actually owned this forklift from HCG. But it wouldn't have scaled with this anyway. But still, that would have been kind of cool to put those side by side. Anyway, back to this. So I believe it was a spaceship, but that doesn't explain why the egg is there. So I'm not sure. I think it was a conceptual. They wanted both scenes. And that was one of my worries with this as far as the concept is this is a huge empty blank base. It actually looks really good. And I do have some alien eggs on order from Prime One Studios, so I was planning to put those around it. I may put them on top. I may put them to the side. But she's lunging forward. So she's definitely in a chase mode. She's not in the sedentary mode where she's laying eggs. She's chasing Ripley, we assume. I would love to get the quarter scale Ripley from Prime One Studio. I have it on waitlist to actually pair with this. Lunging forward, badass, the Queen showing everything she is, her huge dangerous tail. Right now, the way I have it displayed, her inner mouth part is coming out. She's ready to swipe at whoever, assumably Ripley or Bishop or Newt, and I love this. I love the concept. It's not that often you see a statue this big that they make really dynamic. Most of the time it's more sedentary or stationary, what we call museum pose. So I think the concept is a 4 out of 5. I would give it a 5 out of 5 if there wasn't all the wasted space on the base. Now, design is actually a lot of really cool stuff that I did not expect because there wasn't a lot of information on this piece. I didn't get to do a lot of research. So before we go into all that, here's the unboxing and assembly. So I had them put it in a crate because it did ship from overseas, although you're going to see in a second that didn't really help. So two pretty large size boxes, and they still shoved forklift forks right through. Thankfully, nothing was damaged. Each box did have a decent art box, as you see here. The first one had a instruction manual and straps with the white foam, and then had the base, the acrylic stand, and an egg. And the second one was 2 layers. Here's the first layer, followed by the second layer. So one of the things I alluded to is I don't know how I'm going to display it because frankly, I don't know which way is the front. You do see a nameplate right here, but believe it or not, this nameplate, as you see in the pictures, is not only right in the front here, but it's removable. And there's magnets to put it on either side. So technically that could be the front, or that could be the front, or hell, that could be the front. It all depends on the display space. So I do have a shelf that is dedicated pretty much just for this. We're going to see what looks the best. Right now I'm kind of feeling, from a displayability standpoint, that this would be the, I'd like to display it kind of like this, but that's not going to work. So it might be like that, so you can see more of her face. So let's assume this is the front. If that's the case, the base is a hair over 27.5 inches wide, and then about 16 inches deep. The tallest part of her is 39.5 inches, and then it's kind of difficult, but the length with the tail, whoo. Yeah, I said woo, 50 inches. Wow. So, quarter scale, 4 times smaller than a real life version. The only negative, I think, is if you want an egg, and this egg actually comes off, but there's still a keyhole, you have to find quarter scale eggs. I was looking really hard. It's hard to find any. They have 3rd scale, they have non-scale, they have 6th scale. So if you want to put more eggs on here, which is kind of what I want to do, you don't really have a choice out there. Now you guys know I'm not a fan of nameplates, so what I like about the removable nameplate, as you saw in the pictures, you don't need to display this, and I don't intend to. Another fantastic feature is a light up effect via an AC adapter and a button. So this looks pretty cool. It adds a cool element to the statue for sure. But there are a few other display options as well. Check this out. So for her front arms, her little arms here, her T-Rex arms, you have 2 options. The one you're looking at now, or you can switch it out with this. There's some pretty powerful magnets that they just set up in there. For her inner mouth, you have 3 choices. The really long one, which is what I'm going to display. A shorter one that's kind of deep up in the mouth. And then, of course, you could go without it because you can't really see the keyhole. So I love the fact you have multiple display options. Although the arms, I don't really get. You could probably mix and match them too, but I kind of chose these because they were kind of larger and they didn't look as T-Rexy or as funny. It comes with this acrylic stand right here. Now, interesting fact about this, when I originally put the acrylic stand on, it wasn't leaning onto it. It already is leaning onto it after a day. So it's definitely needed. I really hate that. But man, if you're going to do a dynamic pose, that's really your only choice. So I appreciate they put it here. There's not really much you can do. There's a little sticker on it I'm going to remove. So everything assembled really well. I was surprised. Some of it feels a little bit loose, but it's not. They use magnets and keyholes. I have zero worries about anything other than it leaning over time, which obviously this should help. So I think the design's a 4 out of 5 because it's really elaborate and it seems to work. And despite the size, you do have some good display options. You know, I talked about during the concept kind of the wasted space on the base, which sometimes I think is a design thing, but it's not really wasted because you need the space for the entire Queen alien anyway. Paint and sculpt, I was pleasantly surprised with how old this is. Here's some close-up video. As we dive in, I feel like I have a bias knowing this is an older statue, but let's take a look. So the exterior of the base here, like I said, very ship-like, has a few like vents, metallic parts to really make you believe it was inside of that ship, the hangar where the alien queen hung onto the incoming ship. And then the vents on the bottom, those to me, those are the ones they pulled up. And they did kind of like a mirror effect on the bottom, which I think is really smart to make it feel more black. The paint overall on the alien, we're going to look at it close here. I wish it had a little bit more of that moist effect. I always feel like the aliens in the hive are a little slimy, but I think they did a really nice job on the egg. Pretty creepy looking. You know, part of the problem with making alien pieces from the movies, the majority of the movies, the aliens are very dark, so they're kind of hard to see what's going on. But I think they did a really nice job, not only with the sculpt, but the paint. And the queen herself, absolutely amazing. I love the design of aliens. I can't imagine someone just, I believe Stan Winston worked on Aliens. I think Giger was the Alien movie. I think they both might have worked together on this one, on the Queen. But you see a little bit of that moist effect, but it's more of a matte dark blue with almost some purple in there. But I think they did a really nice job. I mean, look at the teeth. Just like the movie, there's no saliva dripping, but I almost feel like there is because of that translucent effect on the teeth. All the ridges and nodules throughout the body, which is just part of the design. But even look like at the striations of these spikes, or almost fins, I don't even know what to call them. Some nasty nails on the queen. And you can literally look at this for a long time. And I like how some of the paint fades into not only other colors, you see some browns in there, but like where these cartilage pieces, I don't know what they're made of, but cartilage pieces jut out. Would have been cool maybe if they added a little bit of acidic burn on the base. All the spikes in the tail, almost like spine. The nodules in the neck. And then of course the crown on her head up here. Nice gleam, sharp points on the end. This is pretty impressive. There's a lot more brown in here than I originally thought. Now I have pretty bright spotlights shining on it. But I think she looks great. Like I said, not as moist as some of the other aliens, but still pretty damn good in my opinion. Hard to get her to focus. Sculpt, I have to give it a 4 out of 5. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I love the head especially. Really, really well done. Paint, like we talked about, certain parts are better than others, but still, I think it's a 4 out of 5. While it's not as good as some of the current stuff that's out there, keep in mind this is 8 to 10 years old. So next is usually where we talk about value, and I'm not going to give it a grade because it's not a brand new piece, but I can tell you they made 100 of these, and they did make some recasts. So you got to be careful. You're buying an original. Way to make sure you have the original is not only buy from a reputable seller, make sure it had the proper boxing that you saw, make sure it comes with the authentic instruction manual, and the bottom sticker is intact. That's the best way to protect yourself. So like I said, they made 100 of them. I bought mine, obviously in the aftermarket. It was still brand new. Someone hadn't opened it up. They opened it up to check to make sure nothing was broken. I paid $2,000 shipped from overseas. I don't think that's bad for a piece this size. I mean, hell, a third scale, some of the Prime 1 studios like this one right here, goes for that on the aftermarket easily, and it's a much smaller piece and not as rare. So I think the value is very good, although I won't give the score. Now, does it have the X factor? Is it what I was hoping for? Is it awesome? Obviously it is. I think this is amazing. I cannot wait to put it over there. Again, you've already seen it in a room tour, or you will very shortly. A good reason to make sure you not only like this video, but you sub to the channel and hit the bell notification. But 5 out of 5 statue for me. I absolutely love it. Zero regrets at all. It's going to stay in my collection a very long time because I think aliens are such a cool franchise and such a cool creature. What do you guys think? Where does she rank? Should I get a third scale alien if it comes out because all my others are third scale? I can't even imagine. That would take up this whole table. Throw that down in the comments below. I appreciate you commenting. It's a way for you to win a statue, and it's a way for me to interact with you. As we try to grow this channel, we like to reward you guys for watching and subscribing. So because of that, every 5,000 milestone when it comes to subscribers, we give away a couple $1,000s worth of statues. We've actually given away over 20 statues. To win one was easy. First, you gotta be subscribed to the channel. You'll get bell notifications when videos drop. Each video that drops, you wanna make a comment on those videos. We pick a random video, we give away statues based on a comment. You can say whatever you want. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Cannot wait to get her over there. I'm stoked. I'm really stoked. This is it's been a while since I've been this excited about a statue. Maybe because I didn't expect to get this.